All right, welcome back. Now, in the wake of Christmas celebrations, the Islamic State West African province, ISWAP, launched an onslaught which attracted global attention. The terrorists released a video showing the execution of 11 Nigerians they described as Christians, the largest group killed so far as part of a campaign to avenge the deaths of two of its leaders, Abubakar al-Baghdadi and his purported successor, Abu al-Hassan al-Moharji, who were killed in separate military operations in Syria last October. The execution came weeks after the Islamists now announced the execution of 4 aid workers. And although the latest video, I should say, offered no information about the victims, there are speculations that some of them may have been aid workers captured in Borno State, northeast Nigeria. Indeed, for the military, aid workers, and the entire country, this frequent occurrence is traumatizing, and considering the fact that these are people working tirelessly to ensure the safety of others, it's extremely sad. Joining me now to discuss this and other security issues is Dixon Osagie, who is a security consultant. Thank you very much, Mr. Osagie, for joining us in the program. First is, what do you make of this execution? You think it was just basically a propaganda?
Well, for me, first of all, I will register my condolences to the family of the deceased victims. And we need to also look at terrorism from the government point of view, because we just believe that the people that died in that onslaught are the victims. In terrorism, the primary victim is the government, while the direct victim that has contact with the insurgent or the criminal or the terrorist are the, what's it called, just people that are unfortunate, because their objective is to drive a message to the government. It's a big propaganda from the Islamic State. Why did I say it's a propaganda? They just want to also achieve publicity and also let the world know that they are still in action.
Unfortunately, at the cost of human lives.
At the cost of human lives. And that is a high spirit of animal behavior, because they just believe they are going to live till eternity. Until these guys begins to remember that they will also die one day, that their ideological driven mentality will not be erased, because they just feel that...
Well, the irony is that these guys say they're not afraid to die because the belief is that when they die, they go to heaven. Oh,
sure. That is the ideology behind their actions, because sometimes you see... they are being brainwashed anyway, because that's why education is a key to countering terrorism. Because somebody who is jobless, for instance, that's why the government also need to pay attention in job security. Because if the state cannot offer a job to the citizen, the enemy's offer is a welcome development.
But are you not surprised that up to this moment, about 10 years plus now, I mean, just there was an attack in Adamawa State not quite long ago, a few hours ago, and are you not surprised that up till this moment, about 10 years after, Boko Haram seems to be still strong, despite the government's claim that it has ended the insurgency and degraded the sect?
I am surprised, because I know the Nigerian army very well. I'm a product of the army. My father is a product of the army. My elder brother is a product of the army. My immediate younger brother, too, is still in the army. He was shot in Chibok by Boko Haram in 2014 when they captured those girls. I know the capability of the Nigerian army. I know the capability of the Nigerian Air Force. I know the capability of the Nigerian Navy. If you put these three forces together, inclusive of our police, and a group of criminal elements known as insurgent or terrorists are holding them on siege for 10 years, it's a worrisome situation. And that is why we also have to remember that there are some conflict entrepreneurs that don't want this war to die, because conflict of entrepreneurs enjoy conflicts. You know, they make their money during time of conflicts. They also live with conflict. They survive by conflict, because it's worrisome. Most of our guys that went for international operation during the uproar of Sierra Leone war, the Liberian war, the Congo war, Nigerian guys went there and they performed. The United Nations were proud of Nigerian troops. The world was proud of Nigerian troops. How come we are still playing a kind of a card game with these guys? Because when it comes to terrorism, DEJI, the truth is that you don't need to take that war as a discretionary war. You need to take it as a necessary war. The military are taking this war as it's a discretionary war. They are not seeing the effect to the national economy. They are not seeing the effect to our tomorrow, to the unborn. Until our security agencies come to the fact and realize that they are solely responsible for the territorial integrity of this given state, this will continue to go worse. Imagine 2013, 2014, group of elements taking hold of about 13 local government, 14 local government within our territory. That means the territorial behavior of our security agency is very, very poor. So they need to come and attend to this fire
but do you
properly.
do you think that, in all honesty, that this country has spent enough on the military?
Oh, Nigeria have spent a lot of billions of naira.
Yeah, we've
billions
spent,
of
but
naira. You are aware, you are in the media world.
Is it
you are
enough?
aware.
I mean, yeah, you know, it's one thing to budget billions. It's a different thing to release this money. The police, for instance, I know they don't get enough funding. Even in the military, we still hear of soldiers, you know, in the battle front now complaining of not getting.
That is where the greedy element needs to be fetched out within the military. If you go into statistics properly, between 2010 to now, the Nigerian government has spent not naira, billions of dollars. Now, these billions of dollars or billions of nairas are used to procure equipment. Now, we need to understand something. When it comes to battlefront, there's what we call the SHELL acronym. They need the software to survive this war. They need the hardware to survive this war. They need the environment also plays a role, because you don't fight on space, you know, a section of the Air Force that will be delivering their bombs or carrying out bombardments. Then we also need the liveware. Now, what the Nigerian government are really spending money on are equipments. Are you with me? Which are the software or hardware. But they are not looking at the liveware. The liveware is the human, is the machinery, is the man factor. If you put in more money for the man factor, terrorism will be history. Now, let me give you a statistic now. An average soldier in the war front, after 30 days, is being paid about 45,000 naira. Are you with me? As an extra allowance in exception of his salary. Now, when you bring that 45,000 naira to a day, he will be earning close to about 1,500 naira per day. When you bring that money to an hour, that means he's being paid about 142 naira per hour. Now, if the enemy's attack comes now, DEJI, and the attacks last for 3 hours, you have to multiply 142 naira by 3 hours to give you about 300 or 420 naira. That means a soldier will receive 420 naira for a fierce battle that lasted for 3 good hours. That is demotivating. We need to start paying these guys well, because for you to put your life on the line, you should be well paid. Look at the Americans, for example. Why are they surviving? Is it because of gallantry or braveness? No, because they look at the liveware. The liveware is very, very paramount. If you want to succeed the enemy, the liveware is paramount. And the Nigerian government should not be looking at this war as a war you want to win. You don't win terrorism war, because the terrorist guys themselves, they are not fighting to win. They are just fighting to be a worrisome, a worry on your neck. They don't want to win the war. They are just to destabilize the state, put in revolution, because what is happening in the North is a revolution, religious revolution. They need to, they want to establish their own religious ideology. So if our government wants this war to end, they should concentrate more on the liveware.
Now, don't you think the entrance of ISIS into the whole equation with ISWAP now springing up, that actually complicates matters now for the country? Oh,
sure, it does, because we actually played with the game. You know, when Boko Haram started in 2009. The Nigerian government just thought it's something that they could just use the military and demobilize or deactivate. They never give the police an opportunity to go into that war, because the military are our last hope of defense. You know, just for example, now maybe something is happening, you just send one of your best man to that place without going through the process of conflict engagement. Because if the military or the government had carried out a systematical approach in containing these insurgents, Boko Haram would have been history. They didn't do that. They just project the military. At every given time, you project the military. Now, you know, in our local parlance, there's what we call see finish. You know, they've seen everything about the Nigerian military. There's no respect for the military again. Because what makes you to lose any battle is when you have fear. Now they don't have that fear anymore. In the early days, DEJI, when we were in the military, I served in a Cross River State. I was in the armored division. If there's a conflict, for example, in Ogoja local government, and we are advancing from 245 Lekki Battalion in Ikom, before we arrive at Ogoja or any nearest given location where the incident is taking place, the criminal guys would have dispersed. They would take off. They would run away.
So what has changed? What
has changed is because the military have been politicized. You understand what I'm saying? They've been politicized, you know. They don't want to see security service as a service to the nation. Because in any given state, the first duty you uphold is the respect for the Constitution. But here we believe in regime protection. Like some of the security agencies believe in regime protection. They don't uphold the survival of the Constitution. Because if this Constitution is not upheld, there's going to be a problem in this country.
What do you think we need to do now to in concrete terms, decimate this Boko Haram insurgency?
Well, sometimes I want to ask ourselves, why is it that most countries in the world are advancing? When, for example, a Nigerian man that is not productive here in Nigeria, when he gets to Canada, he will become productive. Somebody who is not productive here in Nigeria, when he gets to the United Kingdom, United States, he will be highly productive. What is the problem? The problem is attitude. We need societal attitudinal change because the battle begins from the mind. And at any given situation, if the mind is not corrected, there is nothing you're going to do about it. We need to start looking into fatherism, parental absenteeism. Also, we need to also look at parental absenteeism. Like you yourself, you are a renowned journalist, well respected all over the world. It's because you have a very good parenting, whatever the case may be. You understand what I'm saying? So we need to start looking at fatherism, parenting, so that most of these bad guys will know where they're coming from. DEJI, when I was 20 years old, I was 18 years old when my father wanted me to join the military. The commander said I'm too young, I should go back to school. 2 years later, my father plugged me into the military because he was a soldier and is also serving in the training institution. Now, what my father told me then is this. He said, if anything happened to this country, Nigeria, I want you to rise up and fight for Nigeria. What are we telling our children? That is still residing in my mind because he fought the Civil War. He served the Nigerian army for 37 years. His 3 sons, he enlisted all of them into the army. He believed in the survival of this country. Until our parents, our father, our mothers begin to believe in the true nature of Nigeria, they will be sowing negative seed to the minds and hearts of their children. And also, we have to also look at what's it called, joblessness as well. You know, if the government must succeed in this fight, we need to start engaging the youths.
But very quickly, you think, because we're rounding up now, you think this Boko Haram insurgency can actually be defeated?
Well, it can be defeated battle-wise. Are you with me? But peace-wise, they can be defeated because when ideology is established, it takes systematic approach to defeat such ideology. That is why we need to see the National Orientation Agency coming on board to talk to these guys, because it's the battle of the mind. A child who was born in 2010 under the auspice of an Islamic state of Boko Haram, he will grow up with such ideology. So looking at killing everybody from the northeast will not resolve terrorism. What we need to do is to go into the youth, engage the youth, let them know that this country belongs to every one of us. And we also need to have that belief of unity, because Nigerians, we're not united. We're just telling ourselves lies. Until we believe that and understand the core essence why Nigeria exists, things will begin to go wrong.
Dixon Osagie, thank you very much for coming on the program.
Nice
sharing
being
your
here.
thoughts with us.
Nice being here.
Well, that's it on the program. But if you want to watch it again, it's very simple. Just go to our website, TV360Nigeria.com. You'll find this program and lots more there. And of course, you can follow the conversation on our various social media platforms. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.